Okay, so pag-usapan po natin yung tingin kong possible pong epekto sa impeachment trial ni VP Sara considering the voting election formula po na sinunod ng grupo nila Senator Gatchalian when he was elected as the Senate President pro tempore. So for today's video po, explain ko sa inyo number one kung ano po yung tingin kong posibleng epekto doon based on all the constitutional provisions related dun sa election voting formula po ng Gatchalian block. Tapos may ibibigay din po akong extreme na example sa inyo para hopefully po maintindihan nyo talaga yung point ko kung bakit importante yung mga constitutional safeguards na voting requirements. And then, explain ko din po yung mga other possible na maapektuhang constitutional provisions aside from the impeachment trial po ni VP Sara Duterte. Okay, so good day po to all of you, my fellow taong bayan at mga kasimor. At yan po ang video natin for today. Okay, so brief facts lang po muna tayo. I'm sure naman po siguro as of today, June 8, 2026, ay alam na nating lahat na may dalawang faction currently sa Senate, which is under the Cayetano block, Senate President Cayetano, and the Gatchalian block, Acting Senate President Win Gatchalian. Okay, so hindi ko na-explain yung pinaka-specific na nangyari, pero yung dapat lang talaga maintindihan natin dito is that nung inelect po si Senator Gatchalian as the Senate President pro tempore, yung pinagbasihan po kasi ng block nila was the Avellino versus Cuenco case. And because of that case daw, according to them, ay meron silang sufficient number to constitute a quorum, yung number 12 po nila, kasi nga biglang dumating din si Senator Cheese. And then eventually they decided to elect Senator Gatchalian po with only 12 senators. Yun po yung pinaka nangyari. So yung issues po talaga in this situation, dalawa po yung major issues na nakikita ko talaga. And gusto ko lang to i-clarify at emphasize po sa inyong lahat kasi na misinterpret po ng general public na one and the same yung quorum issue from the voting issue. So magkaiba po yun kasi magkaibang legal provisions po yan. Kung titingnan niyo sa 1987 Constitution, there is a different provision for the quorum and then there is another provision naman po pag election of officers yung pinapag-usapan. And as to the election of officers na issue po, I explained that thoroughly dito. Pero yung gusto ko lang pong i-clarify today dito sa facts portion natin is the Avellino versus Cuenco case. So again, una po ang kailangan nyo maintindihan, dalawa po talaga yung major issues kung what constitutes a quorum po ba sa Senate, and then pangalawa, what is the voting requirement to elect a Senate President pro tempore. Okay, pero i-clarify ko po yung sa Avellino versus Cuenco. If you actually read this case, maikli lang naman po to, and then dapat din po basahin ninyo yung mga concurring and dissenting opinions ng justices natin. So again, it's a very short case po in the sense na pag ikumpara sa ibang unbanked Supreme Court unbanked cases. So in this case po, kaya nagkaroon ng quorum which was based on the number 23 senators lang. Kasi yung isang senator po was outside the coercive process of the Philippine jurisdiction. At yung senator po na yon ay nasa ibang bansa kasi nagpapagamot. So when you say coercive process po, yun yung pag-aresto ng sergeant at arms, arestuhin para dalhin sa plenary para isama siya sa bilang ng quorum. So in this case po, since outside the Philippine jurisdiction yung isang senator, therefore, sa labas nga po siya ng coercive process ng Senate of the Philippines at hindi siya pwede arestuhin. Kaya yung ginamit pong basihan sa pagbilang ng quorum dito is the number 23. So, ganun din po yung nangyari actually sa situation ni former Senate President Drilon noong 2015. Kasi kung titingnan din po ninyo yung journal during that session nila, yung other senators po kasi were outside also of the Philippine territory. So again, pag outside Philippine territory, outside the coercive process po yun ng Senate. Kaya bumaba din po yung quorum requirement. Pero take note po, ang isa ring magandang matandaan nyo dito, this is actually a case based on the 1935 Constitution po kasi. So currently, we are in the 1987 Constitution. So under our present Constitution, wala pa po talagang jurisprudence addressing directly yung ganitong quorum issue. So in simple terms, pwede po talaga ilapit ngayon yung situation nila SP Cayetano, Acting Senate President Gatchalian, yung case nila sa Supreme Court para ipaklarify po sa Supreme Court kung whether or not ito bang decision na to ay applicable dun sa situation nila which is based on the 1987 Constitution. Okay, and then yung isa pa po na dapat nyo ring maintindihan, yung situation po kasi ni Senator Jinggoy Estrada at Senator Bato de la Rosa, they are still within the coercive process po of the Philippine Senate kasi nasa Philippine jurisdiction pa rin naman po sila. So if you look at cases also, yung the Halos Hos case, even the case of former Senator Trillanes, Yung decision po kasi doon, even if a member of Congress is detained, hindi po nawawala yung title niya as a member of Congress. So in the case of Senator Jinggoy po, even though nakakulong po siya at present, he is still a senator of the Republic of the Philippines. So kung senator po siya ng Republika, kasama pa rin po siya dun sa bilang na 24 senators ang nagko-compose ng Senado ng Pilipinas under the Constitution. Okay? At ngayon naman po sa situation ni Senator Bato de la Rosa, si Senator Bato yung sinasabi he is allegedly in hiding, but wala naman pong any confirmation report na he is outside the coercive process of the Senate of the Philippines. So again, kung makikita po ninyo, yung pinaka-issue talaga is whether or not within the coercive process ba. Kung within the coercive process, edi under pa rin po yan or part pa rin sila sa bilang pag-determine ng quorum at ng voting requirements. Okay, so ngayon alam ko ang sasabihin po ninyo, nagtatago nga allegedly si Senator Bato, so paano siya maaresto ng Senate? So pwede pa rin naman po yan iserve yung mga subpoenas or summons ng Sergeant at Arms sa office sa Senator Bato, sa residential address niya, kasi meron naman pong record si Senator Bato sa place of residence and yung office address po niya kung saan magkakaroon pa rin po ng valid service of those notices. And then let's say kung after the service of summons, nag-lapse na yung certain period, hindi pa rin po yun siya automatic na tanggal na as member of the Senate kasi may voting requirement din po or may procedure para ma-expel yung isang senador, and that is also a constitutional provision po. Okay, and then in the case din po ni Senator Bato, tandaan din natin, although he is allegedly in hiding, since allegations nga lang po yun, ay anytime pwede naman po siya mag-appear, di ba, sa Senate at mag-perform ng functions niya. And that is actually what happened po when Senator Alan Peter Cayetano was elected. Di ba, bigla po siyang nag-appear, nagkaroon ng habulan with the NBI. Pero yung point ko lang po talaga is despite the allegation in hiding, ay pwede nga po siya sumulpot bigla. So in that situation po, makikita natin na talagang part pa po ng Senate membership si Senator Bato. Okay, so yan lang po ang gusto ko i-clarify as to the quorum issue. Pero yung sa voting, again, that is also another issue nga po like what I have explained. So hindi ko na yan i-explain dito kasi haba po tayo masyado. So feel free to watch this video na lang po para mas maintindihan po ninyo. Pero yung dapat po talaga ninyo maintindihan, when you say quorum kasi, yun lang yung number requirement para makakonduct ng business yung plenary. Tapos after po nila ma-determine na may quorum para makatrabaho na sila, hindi po same yung voting requirement ng quorum from election. Magkaiba po yun. And this one nga po, in-explain ko in more detail in this video kasi nakabase po ako dito sa Constitution and the Senate rules. Okay, so yan lang po ang gusto kong i-clarify as to the quorum versus the voting requirement issue. Ngayon po, magdi-discuss ako ng extreme example sa inyo para mas maintindihan ninyo kung bakit importante po talaga yung mga voting requirements sa yan under the Constitution as a constitutional safeguard and protection po sa ating mga ordinary members of the taong bayan ng Republika ng Pilipinas. Okay, at yung reason po kaya important talaga itong mga fixed numbers na pinrovide ng Constitution natin because that is actually a protection from abuses po from the government sa atin nga pong mga ordinary members ng taong bayan. Kasi ito po, bibigyan ko kayo ng extreme example. Kung let's say may isa pong group ng Senate who are really opposing the actions of the government or the abuses of the government, tapos because of that opposition nila ay napapag-initan po sila ng government bigla. Okay, pero before I explain further, I would just like to clarify to all of you. Hindi ko po sinasabi na ito yung ginagawaan ng PBBM admin or gagawin to nila. But I am just giving this as an extreme example para mas maintindihan niyo po talaga yung importance nitong mga fixed numbers at mga fixed voting requirements as provided by the Constitution. Okay, so going back, yun nga po, kung merong opposition senators na talagang nag-o-oppose, talagang ino-objectan nila yung abuses, tapos nainis yung government sa kanila. Kung hindi po stricto yung Constitution natin sa mga ganitong numbers, ay isipin po ninyo kung let's say yung opposition senators na yun, ay bigla na lang arestuhin or kunin or itago or i-abduct. Not necessarily by the government but maybe of private individuals, tapos taguin sila for a prolonged period of time, and then biglang yung mga administration senators, since matagal nang nawawala yung mga opposition na yun, ay sabihin na dapat hindi na sila isama sa bilang ngayon. So in that situation, kung makita po ninyo, sobrang dali pong makontrol or ma-abuse yung Senate kung hindi natin susundin yung mga fixed provisions na to na safeguards. Kasi yun nga po, sobrang dali lang i-abduct ng government, ng private individuals kasi alam naman po natin, di ba, na yung government has all the resources. But again, hindi ko po sinasabi gagawin to ni PBBM admin. I am just giving an extreme example para maintindihan niyo po yung purpose ng safeguards nga na to. At ina-emphasize ko lang po yan kasi ako ayoko rin po mapag-initan. I am simply explaining to all of you the rationale behind these provisions. Okay, so yan lang po, di ba? Itatago sila. Tapos syempre at the convenience ngayon of the administration senators, sabihin nila, ay matagal nang nawala yung mga opposition na yon. So dapat hindi na natin sila bilangin kasi hindi na sila pumapasok eh. So hindi na to 24 yung composition natin ngayon, kundi let's say sabihin natin 15. So yung majority na lang nung 15 magiging 8. So kung makita po ninyo, ang layo ng binaba ngayon from 13 sa election of officers, biglang magiging 8 na lang. Simply because inabduct at kinidnap or detain yung mga opposition senators. Diba? And it is for that reason nga po, kaya may mga ganitong safeguards para kahit na itago yung mga senators na yon, ay hindi basta-basta pa rin maabuso yung Senado natin ng mga abusive leaders. Okay, so yan po yung isa sa purpose talaga nito, yung mga ganitong safeguards natin. Diba? At ito kasing voting requirements, madami po itong epekto eh. Hindi lang yan dito, kundi meron din po yan yung sa quorum issue nga natin currently, diba? And then meron din po yung sa pag-elect ng president of the Senate. And even sa conviction din po sa impeachment, diba? Madali na lang nila mababago yan. So I will explain that more later on, pero I am just providing lang po sa inyong lahat yung reasons kung bakit stricto talaga yung constitution natin sa mga number of senators, fixed number of senators, at itong mga majority vote of all its respective members requirement. Because again, this is a safeguard po from abuses para hindi madali ma-manipulate ng isang abusive government yung Senate natin. And the reason po kaya yan ganyan, kasi tatandaan natin, yung 1987 Constitution po was created, di ba, after the term of presidency ni President Marcos Sr. At yung presidency po ni President Marcos Sr. was classified as a dictatorship. So consolidated lahat ng powers sa kanya during that time. Siya yung may power to create laws, kaya mga presidential decrees. So to avoid yung mga ganong situation po of abuses, kaya sinet nila yung mga ganitong fixed number requirement at fixed voting requirement. So yan po ang maganda at yung maintindihan talaga. But again, hindi ko po ito sinasabi kasi I am anti-Marcos. I am simply explaining lang po the theory, the legal theory and rationale behind these constitutional provisions. Kasi baka isip po ninyo, ano lang naman yan eh, Constitution, batas-batas lang yan. Pero hindi po yan ganun because the Constitution po is actually the safeguard and protection po natin from government abuses. So hopefully po mas naintindihan ninyo via the example I gave you para mas ma-visualize nyo kung bakit importante talaga na masunod yung mga fixed numbers at itong mga fixed voting requirements na constitutionally provided. Okay? And then ngayon punta naman po tayo dun sa impeachment. Kung meron ba talagang epekto yung Gatchalian block na voting formula sa impeachment trial ni VP Sara Duterte. Pero before po tayo mag-start mga ka-Seymour, gusto ko lang po kayo pasalamatan lahat because we have reached a very big milestone po. Nasa 1 million strong na po tayo across multiple social media platforms. Sa YouTube, 440,000 plus na po tayo. Sa Facebook, 340,000 plus. Sa TikTok, 230,000 plus. So unahin ko po munang magpasalamat po sa inyong lahat for being part of my content creation journey at being part po ng community ko. Ayoko po kayo tawagin na followers lang kasi I like to think na what we are doing here is an advocacy, and that advocacy po is to hopefully empower all of you, my fellow taong bayan. So because of that, I consider all of you po as friends and part of this community that we are building. Okay, so again, maraming salamat po sa mga hindi pa po nag-subscribe. Huwag niyo po kalimutan sana mag-subscribe. Libre po yung subscription sa YouTube ko, and huwag niyo rin po kalimutan i-like yung video na to para po mas bigyan pa kayo ng ganitong content ng mga social media algorithm. Okay, so anyway po, tuloy tayo sa discussion. And for that po, of course, balik na naman tayo sa Article 11, Accountability of Public Officers. And then nasa Section 3, number 6 po tayo. Diba? The Senate shall have the sole power to try and decide all cases of impeachment. So kung makita nyo po dito, no person shall be convicted. Ano yung required number of vote? 2/3 of all the members of the Senate. So dito po, kung makita din ninyo, ang ni-require din po ng Constitution when it comes to conviction is a voting requirement from all the members of the Senate. Diba? So in other words po, kung susundin yung Gatchalian block election voting formula, ay kahit po itong provision na to ay posible ding maapektuhan kasi currently si Senator Gatchalian was voted by his block as the Senate President pro tempore with only 12 members of the Senate present. So i-clarify ko lang din po kasi baka sabihin ninyo Senate President pro tempore lang naman yung binoto sa kanya at hindi naman Senate President. Okay, so for that po, para maintindihan nyo talaga, ipakita ko lang din po yung Senate rules ng mabilisan. So the rules of the Senate, dito naman po, latest update, publication 2026, kita nyo naman po. And then pupunta lang tayo niyan sa Rule 1, Section 1 and Rule 2, Section 2. So makita ninyo dito, sariling rules na po ito ng Senate, Republic of the Philippines Rules of the Senate. So the Senate shall elect in the manner hereinafter provided a president, ito yung Senate President, tapos President pro tempore, ito po yung kay Senator Gatchalian. So important po i-take note dito is the Senate shall elect manner hereinafter provided. So yung manner po na yun, yung paraan po na yun ng election ay ito, yung sa Rule 2 Section 2. So dito po kitang-kita nyo naman sa Rule 2 Section 2, ang nilagay din po ng Senate is the officers of the Senate shall be elected majority vote of all its members. So even though hindi constitutional provision yung pag-elect ng President pro tempore, since ginaya po ng Senate rules yung provision sa Constitution sa pag-elect po ng Senate President, edi binding po to sa members ng Senate. So when I say binding, hindi po nila pwede baliin or baliwalain or i-bending itong provision na to kasi ito yung rules currently ng Senado na inaprubahan po nila noong 2026 lang, di ba? Like what I showed earlier. So ito po, makita nyo, di ba? This latest and updated edition was edited and published by the Legislative Publication Service Senate of the Philippines, Pasay City 2026. And then yung tatandaan din po kasi natin dyan under Article 6, yung rulemaking power po ng Senate is a constitutional mandate po yan. So nasa Section 16.3 yan eh. Yan, Section 16, Article 6, Section 16.3, each house may determine the rules of its proceedings. So ito po yung basis ng Senate rules. So kung the Senate decided na ganito rin yung provision nila pag-elect ng Senate pro tempore under their rules, valid and binding po yun kasi pasok yung constitutional power niya sa paggawa ng rules under din ng Constitution. Okay, so if you want more details about this, andun yun sa isang video na fina-flash ko kanina. Pero I just wanted to clarify that para maintindihan ninyo yung sinasabi kong Gatchalian block na voting formula. Okay, so going back po dun sa Accountability of Public Officers, Section 3, Number 6. So yung voting requirement nga, no person shall be convicted without a concurrence of 2/3 of all the members of the Senate. So since like what I showed you, yung sa pag-elect ng Senate pro tempore, ganito rin po yun eh. Majority of all the members of the Senate. Pero yung Gatchalian block, binabaan nila yung majority voting requirement of all members. Sinunod lang nila dun sa quorum requirement. So kung nagawa nila yun dun sa pag-elect ng Senate President pro tempore, ay posible rin po yun na i-apply nila yung ganong interpretation nila sa batas at sa Constitution dito naman when it comes to impeachment conviction. Because again, yung requirement dito is a voting requirement then of all the members of the Senate. Kasi yung formula nga nila, since sila Senator Jinggoy daw ay nakakulong, si Senator Bato ay allegedly nagtatago, ay hindi na sila parte dito sa mga all the members of the Senate na voting or quorum requirements. Diba? So, for them currently, yung basihan na magiging 2/3 na to ay hindi na 24, kung hindi 22, if we follow their Gatchalian block voting formula. Okay, so ngayon po, ang next question naman natin, impeachment lang naman yan. That is just one aspect of the Constitution. Hindi naman talaga maapektuhan yung Republika ng Pilipinas kung i-insist sila yung Gatchalian block voting formula. So ngayon po, ipakita ko naman sa inyo yung mga other constitutional provisions pa na may mga ganitong voting requirement na of all the members of the Senate. Tapos kayo na po yung mag-decide for yourself kung tingin ninyo maapektuhan or posible bang maapektuhan yung Pilipinas kung i-allow natin yung Gatchalian block voting formula. Okay, so for that, of course, we're still back in the 1987 Constitution. Pero this will be a new constitutional provision na po. Never pa po natin ito napag-usapan sa channel. So this will be a first time. So nasa Article 17 po yung papag-usapan natin. This one, amendments or revisions. So this one po talks about amendments or revisions to this Constitution. Okay, so kung makita po niyo Article 17, Amendments or Revision, Section 1, any amendment to or revision of this Constitution may be proposed by Congress upon a vote of 3/4. Tapos ano yung required? Of all its members. Diba? Tapos Constitutional Convention din. So amendments to this Constitution may likewise be directly proposed by the people. So ito yung People's Initiative. And then ito pong Section 3 naman yung sa vote of 2/3 via the Constitutional Convention naman to. So kung makita niyo dito, lagi pong sinasabi, vote of all its members ang required pag ang pinapag-usapan po is amendment to the Constitution. So ngayon, ang point ko lang po dito, if we will apply the extreme example that I showed you earlier, di ba, pwede nila nga i-abduct yung mga opposition senators, itago. But again, this is just for discussion and educational purposes lang po Kung pwede nila nga po gawin yon, edi pwede nila pababain yung voting requirement nitong of all its members. Kasi yung formula nga po ng Gatchalian Block ay pag hindi na pumapasok, dapat tanggalin na siya dito sa of all its members na number ng bilang. Diba? So itong 3/4 ay posibleng ma-alter din na hindi na yung basihan is 24 if we apply yung extreme example po na binigay ko. And then for the Constitutional Convention naman, since ang nakalagay din dito, 2/3 of all its members, edi same din po yung possible maging scenario dyan. Pwede rin bumaba yung 2/3 na yan from the total number na hindi na rin 24. Ngayon currently, according to the Gatchalian Block, 22 lang. Tapos kung may maaresto pa later on, may mawala pa later on, edi bababa ng bababa yun. So yan po yung isang possible legal issue talaga kung ako ang tatanungin ninyo, kasi it will really be subjected na lang to who is the most powerful ba. Tapos biglang ma-alter na pala yung constitution natin via, kung ako tatanungin, it is questionable means kasi dapat fixed number yung basihan natin of 24. Unless na lang, of course, talagang mamatay or mag-resign yung isang senator. So yun, klaro naman na hindi na talaga siya part of the membership of the Senate. Pero kung nakadetain kasi, in the Halos-Hos case, in the Trillanes case, ang jurisprudence po dyan, they still continue to be part of Congress. Therefore, congressmen or senators pa sila kahit nakadetain and should therefore not be excluded from the all members requirement. Okay, so yan po ang isang possible maapektuhan dito, not only the impeachment but even the amendment of the Constitution. And then yung isa pa po na posibleng maapektuhan, this will also be the first time po na madidiscuss natin to, pero this time nasa Executive Department naman po tayo, and this is Section 21. So Section 21 po is tungkol sa mga international agreements or treaties. So kung makita po nyo dito, no treaty or international agreement shall be valid and effective unless concurred by at least 2/3, ano na naman po yung requirement of all the members of the Senate. Diba? So again, if we apply the extreme example, pwede po nila pababain tong 2/3 na to na number, yung total number, kasi mababa din po yung total membership of the Senate na number pag sundan yung Gatchalian Block voting formula. Okay, so this is another provision po na maapektuhan, at baka magtaka kayo, ano naman yung kinalaman ng mga treaties or international agreements? So yung mga treaties na yan, yung example po dyan, yung mga missile ngayon na madami all around the Philippines, hindi natin alam, baka kung ano-ano na lang ng mga treaty or international agreements yung ina-approve ng administration-controlled senators. So in very simple terms, ay posible tayong parang maging colony ulit of another country because controlled nila yung Senate, kung controlled po talaga ng executive yung Senate. Okay, so again, hindi ko po sinasabi na ito yung gagawin talaga ni PBBM, but I am just visualizing to all of you po mga educational scenarios na possible mangyari if we will follow certain voting formula requirements. Ngayon po, magbigay na lang din ako ng final remarks kung bakit ganito ba yung legal position ko as to these issues. Okay, at yung pinaka-final remarks ko po dyan ay ito, yung pinakauna po ng Constitution natin, preamble. Kita niyo naman po, di ba? We, the sovereign Filipino people, imploring the aid of Almighty God. So basahin nyo lang po. So yung pinaka-point ko lang po talaga dito is that baka kasi currently, since it is good for the political faction that you are supporting, kaya nakakalimutan or hindi nyo nakikita yung possible long-term issues if we allow certain actions na yun yung masunod talaga. Yan lang naman po yung palagi kong inuulit-ulit talaga dito sa channel ko. We just follow the rule of law, rule of just law. Dapat Filipino first mindset tayo, hindi political color. Kasi yun nga po, di ba, politicians at the end of the day have their own policies that they push. Tapos, in the short term, baka beneficial dun sa political beliefs niyo, sa political group niyo, pero in the long term pala, affected yung taong bayan at large, yung Filipino people. So yan lang yung talagang i-assess natin kung sino ba yung naikinabang in the long term. Huwag tayo short term planning lang, kasi pag short term, mahirap po yan. Masaya lang tayo ngayon, tapos hindi pala tayo masaya sa long term. And madami naman na pong kasabihan tungkol dyan, yung mga one-day millionaire, tapos wala na, bankrupt the succeeding days or years. So yan lang po yung gusto ko talagang instill to all of you, na let's always have a Filipino first mindset. Tingnan natin ano yung most beneficial para po sa Republika ng Pilipinas in the long term, despite our political differences. Kasi kung titingnan lang naman po natin yung Constitution, titingnan lang po natin yung mga batas natin, Republic Acts, magkaka-idea naman po kayo kung ano talaga yung tama eh, di ba? Again, that is simply following the rule of law. Di ba? Kung makita nyo dito, and secure to ourselves and our posterity the blessings of independence and democracy under the rule of law. So very big deal din po talaga yung independence natin as a country kasi pinaglaban po talaga yan ng mga forefathers natin at nagkagulo nga rin po sila, di ba? Yung mga panahon pa nila Andres Bonifacio. Tapos di natin alam, baka biglang naapektuhan na pala yung independence natin dahan-dahan kasi internal conflicts lang po tayo dito because of differences in political colors. Okay, so yan lang po ang masasabi ko to all of you, my fellow taong bayan. Hopefully, klaro po yan. If you like more legal videos and current events, subscribe lang po kayo sa channel ko. And until next time, see you all po. Bye-bye!